Good evening. Many of you in the audience tonight are familiar with the director of tonight's film, To Live. His name is Zhang Yimou, and he's very well known for a variety of films produced over the last 20 years. Zhang Yimou first began making movies in the 1980s when he was a cinematographer, just graduated from the Beijing Film Academy. In 1988, he had his premiere with the film Red Sorghum, and in the years following would produce other landmark films that would attract attention both in China and overseas, winning numerous prizes at film festivals. The film we're screening tonight, To Live, comes from the middle of his career. After his early experiences with Raise the Red Lantern and Red Sorghum, and before such popular mass market films as Not One Less, The Road Home, and of course his martial arts films, Hero and House of Flying Daggers. This clip helps us better understand the title of the film, To Live. In this scene we see two soldiers who have been conscripted into the army. The main character, Fugui, and his friend Chunshang, who will be appearing throughout the film. Here they're looking at a scene of those killed in battle and wondering how difficult it is to live, and simply living is already difficult enough. For the Chinese people in the 20th century, they have faced famine, disasters of all kinds, and simply living for them was already struggle enough. The color red has a great deal of prominence in Chinese color symbolism and culture. We associate red most often with things such as New Year's celebrations, as we see in people's dress, in terms of decorations. It symbolizes life and symbolizes vitality and hope for the future. In the film To Live, the color red is used in several senses. We see in this first scene, for example, red being used in its more traditional positive sense, where we see it featuring prominently in the marriage of the two characters we're about to see, Fugui and Jiazhen's daughter, and their new son-in-law. This positive scene also can be contrasted with red being used in several other scenes. The film is about trauma, and it's about the suffering that people experienced during the middle years of the 20th century. And so as a result, there are scenes of people dying in battle, or people dying due to accidents. The film depicts this very clearly in several scenes that particularly affect the family of the main character, Fugui, and his wife. To Live contrasts optimism, which we see captured at its highest during the period just leading up to what is known as the Great Leap Forward in the late 1950s. In this scene, depicting Fugui taking his son to school. The boy has spent a long night helping support his family, and he's very tired, and his father carries him to school, and as he does so, he tells him a little rhyme. If, he is hopeful, the young boy will see a chicken grow to become a goose grow to become a sheep become a cow, and a cow lead to communism. Communism being in the 50s the optimal goal, and the idea of living together in happiness and prosperity. Fugui indicates this by signaling the fact that the family will have meat and dumplings and all the good kinds of things to eat with the success of communism. At the end of the film, this rhyme is repeated again. Now Fugui tells it to his grandson. And as he repeats it, he mentions that the chicks that they are raising will grow to become geese, the geese will mature to become sheep, the sheep will become a cow. But this time, Fugui is taken aback and doesn't know quite how to continue. And so his wife, Jiazhen, simply says, well, then you, our little grandson, little Bun, will grow up, and you'll ride trains, Fugui adds, and airplanes. This signals the fact that by the time the film was made in the 90s, China had moved on. Communism had changed and now had become modified with changes with market-based capitalism and with technology. China has new and was moving on as it strived to figure out how to live at the end of the 20th century.